Good morning. Good morning. Let us come right to it. Guidance. Such a small, friendly word, and yet I wonder if it isn't the very proving ground on which most of us discover whether our spirituality is a theory or a life. It sounds simple enough over coffee. It becomes another matter when the telephone rings with an offer, when a diagnosis appears, when the relationship asks for a yes or a no. Then we discover how quickly knees begin to knock and how quickly minds begin to outline. Now, I'm wondering, who am I kidding when I call outlining guidance? Oh, we do it nicely. We get 2 pads of paper, pros on the left, cons on the right, add a few columns, maybe draw a little star next to the ones we hope God likes. But have you noticed the signature that comes with it? Pressure. A little strain in the chest. That thin fear of being wrong and having to live with our own cleverness. That is not guidance. That is planning. And planning, while useful, is not the same as being led. We must be very gentle here. I am not taking away your calendar, or your ledger, or your good sense. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Trains must run. Children must be picked up at 3, and the garbage men, God bless them, will still arrive at dawn whether you have guidance or not. We will plan as we must. But let us not mistake the clatter of our pencils for the voice of God. Mental outlining is not guidance. Guidance begins where the sea of thought begins to settle, when the chop of pros and cons quiets, and there is an actual sense, yes, a feeling, that something deeper than argument is present. Is it possible that guidance is not new information sent to a nervous person, but the surfacing of a presence that has always been the life of this person? Is it possible that right action is the action of one life appearing as our steps? I raise it as a question, not a debate. How do we know when it's God and not personal thought? That is the question of the hour. And we will not settle it by shouting our opinions. We will settle it by rising, if only an inch, above the sea of thought and noticing what is there when thought is no longer captain. You will be safe here. We are not going to float off on clouds and leave you to decide about jobs and doctors and dollars by guesswork. We are going to be practical. Before we finish, you will have criteria you can use, signatures that mark true guidance and those that mark personal thought. You will see some of the little pitfalls that like to dress up as divine leading, urgency, signs, even a spiritualized outline. And you will have a short inner listening practice that can be done in a chair, in a car, or in the quiet corner of a bustling house. For now, let us make this one distinction and keep it close. Planning may organize possibilities, but guidance is born where thought grows still. When the sea settles, there is a click, almost shy at first, and in that click is peace. We will learn to seek that presence before we seek the answer. Seek me only. Then, strangely, the answer seeks us. Now, let us look more closely at this sea of thought, because unless we know its tides, we will keep mistaking a whitecap for a lighthouse. When I say thought, I am not speaking only of arithmetic or cleverness. I am speaking of the whole parade of what can be seen, heard, tasted, touched, and smelled. And then all the relatives that come trailing behind. Memory with its family albums, fear with its disguises, preference with its strong opinions, and that old overseer, the need to control outcomes. Add to this our social training, the headlines, the balance sheet, the weary advice of well-meaning friends, and we have a very busy ocean. It splashes, it shines, it makes a great deal of noise, and, at times, it looks very convincing. Now, the mind is a magnificent secretary. It takes dictation rapidly. It can go into the files, pull out a dozen experiences, staple on a little research, garnish it with a testimony from Uncle George, and call it a leading. It strings together a memory of what happened last time, plus what the expert on the radio said, plus the discount that ends Friday, and with great solemnity announces, God has spoken. Oh, has he? Or has the mind merely performed its favorite trick, assembling yesterday and calling it tomorrow? I am only asking, I'm wondering, who I'm kidding sometimes when I watch how quick I am to take a rush of certainty and christen it guidance. Let us be gentle with ourselves here. We are not condemning intelligence. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Keep your books, pay your bills, use your calendar, consult your dentist. We are only locating proper place. Intelligence is a fine servant. It brings the tea and keeps the appointments. But it is a poor master. When the servant climbs into the master's chair, the house grows tense. The voice gets sharp. Everyone must agree or else. Why does thought carry strain as its signature? Because it must defend itself. It knows, somewhere, that its case is built of arguments, and arguments require more arguments to hold them up. It must anticipate opposition, draft replies, brace for mistakes, and then, if the world doesn't obey, it must scramble to repair its story. At its best, thought offers a temporary certainty, like a tight fist that feels strong until the hand aches. Peace is not in it. Rest is not in it. It can manage a schedule. It cannot confer assurance. It can forecast a storm. It cannot still it. To rise above the sea of thought does not mean to become vacant or dull. Oh, not at all. It doesn't mean abandoning common sense or pretending we have no preferences. It means that we arrive, quietly, without fanfare, at a higher, calmer awareness in which the spray and the roar are underneath us. The senses have not vanished. They have simply taken their seats. Memory has not been burned. It has been relieved of command. In that altitude, there is a felt difference, not another argument, not a brighter opinion, but an actual awareness, a click, a presence that does not need to be propped or defended. The summit is not emptiness, it is spaciousness. The mind may still bring its notes, and we may still use them, but from that height we can smile at the urgency, refuse the strain, and let right action appear without the whip of must and hurry. That is the beginning of being led. Let us take a little object lesson. If I had a tumbler here, and perhaps you can picture one, the question would be simple enough to ask and difficult enough to answer. Where does the outside of the tumbler leave off and the inside begin? Are there two sides, two substances, two existences quarreling at a seam? Or is there but glass, one substance, one identity, appearing as what we call inside and outside? If we examine it slowly, if we refuse the hurry of the mind, we are brought to the odd conclusion that there are not two. There is but glass. We use inside and outside for convenience, for function, for language, but we are still speaking only of glass. Now, bring that tumbler close when the next decision stands and taps its foot. Where does my decision leave off and God's will begin? Is there a me over here with my pads of paper and a God over there with his cosmic pen? And do we send notes back and forth, hoping for a signature? Or is there but life, one substance, one consciousness, appearing as what we call inner impulse and outer step? The anxiety, the delay, the bargaining, all arise at the imaginary seam. We invent a distance, and then we worry about how to cross it. We imagine a God who must be coaxed to speak, and then we fret over whether we have heard correctly. I wonder who we are kidding. Is it possible that guidance is not a message traveling through space to a separate person, but the recognition that the very life doing the deciding is God appearing as us? Let us be clear on this. God and man are not two substances negotiating a treaty. There is but God, the invisible essence, and what we call man, the visible form, the function, the expression of that essence. Two in function, one in being. God is our invisible selfhood. We are the externalized showing forth. When decision time comes, the question is not, how do I get God to speak? The question is, can I be still enough to notice that the one who is my life is already moving, already forming the right action as a simple next step? Thinking won't make this so. Arguing won't make it false. It is so. And the proof is in the feel of it. An actual awareness, a click, a quiet assurance without strain. Does this mean we become passive puppets and let the milk sour and the roof leak? Oh, not at all. Not at all. Oneness is not laziness. It is the only basis on which action can be fearless and timely, because it is not driven by personal anxiety. The hand still writes the check. The mouth still makes the call. The feet still go to the appointment. But the animating will is not a little I clutching at outcomes. It is the one life, being itself, calmly, simply, without boasting. If you catch even a glimpse of the tumbler, you will notice a loosening. The outline softens, the hurry thins out, and instead of prying a door, you find yourself at a door that opens. Guidance, then, is not something added to you. It is the nature of what you are when the fantasy of two-ness is set aside. There is but glass. There is but life. And in that realization, right action is never far, never late, never loud. Now, if we have even a glimmer of that tumbler, let us look at the great saboteur of guidance. Not the plan, but the worship of getting it right. I wonder if you can feel the strain that creeps in the very minute right becomes an idol. Not truth right, not integrity right, but ego right. Right so I will be admired. Right so I will be safe. Right so I will not have to feel the sting of consequence. Right so I can say, I told you so. The plan, poor thing, isn't the villain. The hidden altar in the heart is. When we bow to being right, we have already left being led, and we don't even notice the footprints we are no longer following. Here is where the bubble steps onto the stage. And you know I like that word. It has a funny sound. It rolls around in the mouth and refuses to be taken too seriously, precisely as we must treat it. A bubble is any outcome to which we attach undue importance. Approval, money, romance, reputation, even spiritual success. Oh yes, halos can be bubbles. The moment we clutch, the sea of thought begins to roar. We no longer hear what is true. We hear what agrees with our wanting. We begin to collect corroborations, selective data, friendly prophecies, omens that oddly match our desires, and soon we are bargaining with God, as if God were a banker with whom we trade obedience for results. If you just open this door, I promise to be good. Who are we kidding? That is not prayer. That is spiritualized commerce. The paradox, because this life is full of them, is that right supply and right place come as we loosen our grasp on their effects. The way to have the proper use of money, of companionship, of recognition, is to release the hunger for them. And I do not say despise them. Oh, not at all. Not at all. A bubble is not evil. It is only a trinket that becomes a tyrant when we ask it to save us. The moment we lay it back on the counter and turn to presence, seek me only, the tyrant becomes a tool. The trinket becomes a servant. We are no longer slaves to them. They are subservient to the one acting as us. Then decisions cease to be trades and return to being unfoldments. Let us correct what this does not mean before anyone runs off and cancels their appointments. It does not mean abandoning prudence. It does not mean we stop using calendars, budgets, counsel, or common sense. It does not mean we throw the ledger in the river or ignore the plumber until the basement swims. It means we stop treating these as our savior. The calendar is a fine clock, not a god. The budget is a measuring cup, not a source. Counsel is a window, not the sun. Use them all, be grateful for them, but do not bow to them. When they speak with panic or flattery, smile, set them back on the shelf, and return within until the click of presence settles the air. How do we know when a bubble has begun to run the meeting? Listen for volume and hurry. Notice the little inner whine that demands a guarantee before it will move. See if you find yourself editing reality so that your favorite outcome looks ordained. That is not guidance. That is appetite quoting scripture. When attachment quiets, a curious thing happens. Thought grows simple, the timing stops arguing, and the next step appears without needing to be defended. We find we can move without making a case. We can wait without making a drama. And in that quiet, being right gives way to being real. And being real is the only place guidance can find our feet. Now then, if we are to be led instead of whipped by our wants, prayer will have to be redeemed from commerce and returned to communion. Up to now, most decision prayer has sounded like, "Which one, Father? Door A or door B? Speak quickly, there's a sale on." And I know, we dress it in piety. We add a verse or two, but the energy is the same. Get God to endorse our outline. Is it any wonder the chest tightens? That is not prayer. That is negotiation with an imagined partner across a table that does not exist. Let us put away the ledger and take up the single prayer. Seek me only. Seek me only. Before you ask about the form, come home to the presence. Before you inquire about the option, inquire for God. The prayer becomes, "Let me feel your presence. Let me rest in you." That is all. No bargaining, no hurry, no promises to be unusually saintly if we can have our way. Just a quiet returning until there is the click, an actual awareness, a felt rightness, a hush that does not argue. Thinking won't produce it. Pleading won't improve it. It appears when the heart withdraws its demand for effects and puts its whole consent on God. Use a simple picture. You cannot sit in the basement and petition the sun to give you warmth while you refuse to step into the sunshine. You can write very earnest letters to the sun, and you can promise great reforms if only it will tan you through the ceiling. But the sun has already spent itself. Your part is to come out. Bring yourself into that light, and you cannot keep back the warmth and the color. They are of the sun. They are not a separate donation. Prayer is just that, not asking God to bless our outlines from a distance, but entering the light of conscious presence long enough that its qualities appear without strain. Peace, assurance, a simplicity that makes fussing look silly. Do you see the promise? When the presence is felt, fear drops a size. Urgency loses its teeth. The edges of the choice soften. They stop shouting for attention. Often, before there is a single word, the atmosphere shifts. The rightness is there, prior to sentences, prior even to pictures. And then, as we linger, a next step presents itself like a friend arriving on time. It does not shove. It does not sell. It is just there, and it fits. We will be very plain. Never pray for the answer first. Never pray for the job, the yes, the no, the opening, the closing. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Pray for awareness. Father, let me feel you. Let me abide a moment where you are. Stay until the click, however small, registers. From that altitude, you may find that the so-called impossible organizes itself, or that the brilliant scheme loses all charm, or that waiting becomes the easiest thing in the room. But whether you move or wait, whether the call is made today or Friday, you are no longer a beggar at a window. You are standing in the sun. And where the sun is, warmth is. Where God is, I am. From that fact, guidance is not manufactured. It unfolds. Let us be very practical for a few minutes. We have spoken of turning to the presence first, seek me only, and waiting for that little click. Now I wonder if we might set out a handful of simple tests, not as laws to frighten us, but as lamps to hold over the water so we can see whether we are looking at the lighthouse or only a bright wave. And do not believe me because I say so. Oh, not at all. I invite you to verify by experience. Take these into your next decision and see how they behave in the wild, where telephones ring and bills have dates on them. First, peace. True guidance carries a quiet beneath it, even when the step is large or the stomach flutters. There is a soft yes under the ribs, a rightness that does not have to shout. Personal thought, by contrast, comes with agitation, bargaining, or compulsion. It wants a guarantee. It offers deals. It rushes. It says, do it now or else. Guidance does not threaten. It doesn't bribe. It doesn't need a drum. If you feel the need to force yourself, to talk yourself into it 5 times an hour, pause. Let the sea of thought settle until peace, however delicate, is felt. Move from that. Second, simplicity. Real leading is usually embarrassingly simple. Call her. Cancel that. Go Tuesday. Wait. Personal outlining grows elaborate and defensive. It sprouts contingency clauses. If they say this, then I'll say that. Unless they do that, in which case I'll call so-and-so, who can introduce me to... You know the sound. The sentence needs scaffolding to stand up. Guidance tends to speak in a single sentence that fits on a postcard. And if it is truly guidance, it does not require a thesis to justify itself. It just rings true. Third, impersonality. Guidance cares about rightness, not about making the little I look wise. The step may favor another's convenience, may let someone else shine, may make no noise at all. And yet it rests you because it is free of self-importance. Personal thought, on the other hand, asks, how will this reflect on me? Will I look spiritual? Will they finally see? Guidance needs no applause and will gladly be anonymous if anonymity is right. Fourth, timing. Real direction is not always fast, but when it comes, it has a settled quality. Like a train arriving on schedule. You don't have to chase it down the track. Personal thought is often instant and then keeps revising, issuing urgent bulletins every hour as if the universe were a breaking news channel. Guidance may ask for waiting, but the waiting is restful, not sulking. It is watchful, not anxious. And when movement is ripe, the door and the foot seem to find one another without quarrel. Fifth, fruit. Over time, the fruit of guidance is wholesome. It blesses more than one life. Friction diminishes. The atmosphere in the room clears. Even where there are adjustments, they proceed without hidden warfare. Ego thought, by contrast, isolates. It must protect itself. It breeds side arguments and unintended casualties. You can look back a week, a month, and ask, has peace increased here? Has kindness widened? Is there less strain in the web of relationships? The answer will tell you what voice you followed. Now, let us be safe with this. These are not cudgels with which to beat ourselves. Oh, not at all, not at all. They are lamps to expose the counterfeit and to guide the foot back to presence when we catch the tone of hurry, the itch of proving, the clutter of cleverness. If you notice agitation, return. If your sentence grows baroque, return. If you must keep selling yourself your own decision, return. Seek me only until the click appears. Then take the next right, simple step and let the fruit speak for itself. Test it today on something small. What to say in an email, whether to accept an invitation, and watch how peace, simplicity, impersonality, timing, and fruit mark the path where God walks as your very life. Now, since we have our lamps, let us look at a few of the shadows that try to pass for light. Most counterfeits of guidance are simply fear in costume. They wear a robe, they quote a verse, sometimes they even sing on key. But if you listen beneath the outfit, there's a tremor that says, "Worship me or else." Our safety is not in getting clever at unmasking. Our safety is in returning to presence until the costume loses its power. First, urgency. That inner siren, "Decide now or else," is not God. The infinite, having worlds to manage, does not require panic to be obeyed. Guidance can be swift, yes, but it never bullies. If you feel the lash, let the sea of thought settle. Step out of the room if you must. Breathe. Whisper, "Seek me only," and wait for even a small click. If a train is truly yours, it will not speed by without you while you are in communion. It will meet your foot at the platform, and there will be no elbowing. Second, signs. Oh, how we love a scoreboard. The license plate that matches our birthday. The cloud in the shape of a yes. The text that arrives the moment we think of Aunt Sarah. Signs may occur. They can be sweet, and sometimes they confirm what is already known in God contact. But signs are not the source, and appetite can read anything. The hungrier we are for a bubble, the more every weather vane points our favorite direction. Treat signs as decorations on the cake, not the flour in the batter. If there is no inner click, let coincidences be charming and non-binding. Third, the spiritualized outline. This is the old agenda dressed for church. We staple a verse to a preference, add a "God told me," and hope the halo will silence our nerves. If the inner atmosphere is strained, if you must sell it or announce it, pause. Truth rarely needs a megaphone. Let the plan sit in the light. If it is of the one, peace will join it and the sentence will shorten. If not, the starch will fall out of it on its own. Fourth, outsourcing to people. Counsel is helpful. Oh, not at all, not at all. We are not to become hermits with bad plumbing. Wise friends, elders, experts, they are windows, but they are not the sun. If we substitute their voice for inner contact, their fear becomes our compass. Take counsel after you have turned within, not instead of it. Then you can receive it without being driven by it. Fifth, moral perfectionism. If I were worthier, clearer, purer, then God would guide. No, no, this is not merit. This is awareness. You cannot earn the sun. You can only step into it. Seek me only until the click appears, regardless of yesterday's virtue or lack. The presence is the insurance policy, not your performance. Let us be cheerful about this. The ego is clever. It can put on a choir robe and carry a clipboard. Smile at it. Do not arm yourself with suspicion. Arm yourself with returning. If urgency barks, if signs parade, if the outline preaches, if 10 friends insist, if the inner critic scolds, come back to presence. Rise 1 inch above the sea of thought. Wait for the quiet, the simplicity, the impersonality, the settled timing. From there, take the next right step. And if there is no step, rest. Guidance does not need a drum. It needs a listening heart. Seek me only. Seek me only. Very well. Let us make it plain enough to do in a kitchen chair. First, stop the argument. Catch the very moment you feel yourself trying to manufacture certainty, pacing the hallway of your mind, rehearsing speeches, demanding a guarantee. Kindly name it. Sea of thought. Do not scold it. Do not arm wrestle it. Smile and say, "Ah, there you are." And in that naming, you have risen an inch above it. The spray is still splashing, but you are no longer swallowing it. Second, release the bubble. Name the outcome you are clutching. Their approval. That job. This yes. And, as a condition for peace, set it back on the counter. Not forever, not in dramatic renunciation, but for this holy minute. Say, I will not hire this to save me. I choose peace before result. You will feel the fingers uncurl. Often there is a little sigh. If there isn't, do it twice. A bubble becomes a tyrant only when we beg it for life. Let it be a trinket. Let God be God. Third, turn within. Seek me only. Not as pious words, but as a direction of attention. As literally as you would turn your face toward the window for sunlight. Withdraw interest from pictures and possibilities. Place your regard, quietly, without strain, on the presence. That is the sea asking for a forecast. Let one life lead as one step. Sixth, confirm by fruit. As you move, watch the atmosphere, not the fireworks. Peace should increase. Simplicity should hold. Timing should settle. Doors that are yours should meet your hand without elbowing. Where friction arises, it should not turn you quarrelsome inside. Over hours, days, the wholesome fruit appears. Less strain, more rightness shared. Unintended blessings blooming at the edges. Now the paradox that saves us from foolishness. We plan responsibly after guidance, not to obtain it. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We do not throw calendars into rivers. Once the click has come and the next step shows itself, then bring out the pencil. Book the ticket, set the budget, write the email. Let intelligence become the servant of realization. Planning, in its right place, gives form to the felt right. It does not audition to be God. If at any step the strain returns, simply circle back. Stop the argument. Release the bubble. Turn within. Wait for the click. take the next right step. Confirm by fruit. This is not a maze, it is a rhythm. Right decisions do not thunder in from afar, they unfold from presence, quietly, timely, and enough for today. Seek me only. Then walk the inch that is given. Now, if we have learned to stop the argument, to set down the bibble, to wait for the click and then take the inch that is given, there remains a subtler work, without which all the rest keeps slipping. The little death of I. Deny thyself. Not deny your toothbrush, not deny your talent, not deny the simple joys of life. Oh, not at all, not at all. Deny the tyrant I that must control, must be credited, must not be embarrassed, and so keeps the nervous system on alert even while the lips are praying, "Seek me only." Watch how decisions bend under the weight of my. My supply, my relationship, my future, my security. Each my adds a brick to the backpack. The more bricks, the more fear. The more fear, the louder the sea of thought. The louder the sea, the harder it is to hear that quiet click. The I takes God's universe and shrinks it to a private project, then complains of claustrophobia. I wonder who I'm kidding when I notice how quickly I can make wisdom into my wisdom, life into my life, and guidance into my performance. Let us make a clean, kind shift. There is no my wisdom, there is wisdom. There is no my life, there is life. There is no my supply, there is supply. There is no my future, there is unfolding. In that light, a decision ceases to be a personal exploit and becomes an avenue for life to express itself as right action. The hand still signs the paper, the voice still makes the call, and if the roof leaks, we still ring the roofer. But the felt authorship changes. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth my life. When authorship relaxes, accuracy improves. The inner self is not confused. To keep this from remaining poetry, let us practice something very plain. An I fast. For just one day, till sundown if you like. Notice how often you say I or my, especially around decisions. Do not scold, smile. If you dare, alter the sentence. Instead of I must fix my future, try let us see what is to be done today. Instead of my wisdom says call now, try there is a sense to call now. If you want a little sport, carry a pencil and make a small mark each time you catch the I claiming the microphone. By lunchtime, you will either have a funny page of ticks or a very quiet heart. Both are progress. You need a sense of humor for this work. The liberation is immediate and, curiously, practical. As the personal I softens, guidance appears more naturally and more often, with less drama and more steadiness. The click comes sooner because there is less arguing to outshout. Steps get smaller and righter. Timing ceases to scold. Fruit widens. The blessing spills past your address. And even when nothing outward changes this hour, the atmosphere does. The weight goes out of the sentence. Decision-making becomes less like cliff jumping and more like walking across a well-lit room. Deny thyself, not into a gray emptiness, but into the one that is already your life. Where God is, I am, and where the I is quiet, the way is plain. Let us be quiet a few minutes. Put the papers down. Let the mind stop trying to earn its keep. No one is asking you to solve anything in the next 60 seconds. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are only going to rise an inch above the sea of thought and sit where the sun is already shining. Sit as you are, feet easy on the floor, hands at rest, open if you like. Let the spine be friendly, not heroic. Breathe as you are breathing. Do not arrange the breath. Watch it come and go as the tide comes and goes without taking your opinion. Bring to mind the matter at hand, very gently, as if you were showing a friend a photograph. See it once, nod politely, and let it set itself on the table behind you. We are not stuffing it in a drawer. We are letting it wait its turn. Now, turn within. Seek me only. Or, if you prefer, Father, reveal thyself. That is enough. Not, please reveal thyself so I can decide by noon. No, simply, reveal thyself. Rest your attention, quietly, kindly, on the presence. As tangibly as you might turn your face toward a window, turn the heart toward that which is always here. Wait without demanding words. The aim is not an answer. The aim is God. Thinking won't make it faster. Pleading won't make it purer. Linger a moment longer in the felt presence. Let it have you. Where God is, I am. And when the peace is actual, however small, ask this and nothing larger. Show the next simple step for today. Not forever, today. Wait. If one small obedience arises, call, cancel, wait, go. Receive it without embroidery. If nothing arises, receive that. No step is also a step when it issues from peace. We will open our eyes as they wish to open. Carry this hush like a quiet pocket inside the day. Inner listening is not analysis. It is communion until the click of presence replaces the noise of thought. From that click, the inch that is ours to walk appears, on time, simple, and sufficient for today. Seek me only, then walk the inch. Now we come to the living of it. Tomorrow morning, tonight, Tuesday at 3 when the email pings and the sea of thought starts asking for a weather report. Let us give ourselves 2 strong rails on which the day can run. Never begin the day and never end it without touching the presence. Not as a burden, oh, not at all, not at all. As the simplest love. Before the body reaches for the phone or the news or even the good coffee, let the heart turn and say, seek me only. Sit long enough for the click to register, even if it is a thimbleful. That thimble is the insurance policy against impulsive decisions. And before sleep, close the shop the same way. Lay the day on the counter, bubbles and all, and turn within until the inner weather clears. The sun need not be dramatic. A single ray keeps the path visible at dawn. Between those bookends, we practice gentle obedience. Guidance is proved in teaspoons, not in trumpets. One small, faithful step today. Call, cancel, wait, go. Taken from peace, does more than a weekend of heroic announcements. We do not have to tell the neighbors or post it on a billboard. The oak does not take out an advertisement when it grows a new ring. Just live it. The fruit will do the talking. And if you stumble and catch yourself halfway through a speech you outlined in fear, smile, return, and take the inch that is given now. You need a sense of humor for this work. What if you still don't know? Then do not pretend to know. Oh, not at all, not at all. Return to seek me only. Refuse urgency. Let appetite grow quiet. Meanwhile, take the next harmless step. Gather one piece of information, ask for time, pencil in rather than carve in, tidy the desk, send the thank you note. Keep yourself available without burning bridges or binding the future. If a door is truly yours, it will not vanish while you are in communion. And if it does vanish, it was not yours, and something kinder is being arranged out of sight. Our safety is not in boldness or in hesitancy. It is in presence. We are not promised a life without choices. Life will go on presenting forks in the road, because life is forever unfolding itself. But in God consciousness, the forks lose their terror. The atmosphere changes. The sense of my fate relaxes into one life expressing itself right here. Decisions stop being cliffs. They become steps on a well-lit stair. Keep the daily communion. Refuse the whip of hurry. Take the inch that fits inside the click, and let the wholesome fruit confirm the tree. Let us finish where we began, and let it be our sentence for the week. Where God is, I am. Therefore, right action is not distant. It is present. Seek me only. Then walk the inch that appears, today, on time, simple and sufficient.